Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar on the CooperVision Science and Technology Award Program brought to you by NineSigma. My name is Jonathan Yakasha and I will be your host and moderator for this webinar. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and will be transcribed and posted on the CooperVision page on NineSites at a later date. At any point during today's webinar, please feel free to ask questions using the Q&A chat box. We'll collect those questions and address them during the Q&A portion of today's webinar. At this time, I'd like to introduce our panelists from CooperVision and from NineSigma. From CooperVision, we're happy to welcome Arthur Back, Chief Technology Officer, Nancy Kier, Paul Chamberlain, and Sarah Tao, who are Senior R&D Managers within the R&D Department of CooperVision. And from NineSigma, we have Paul Musili, PhD, Senior Program Manager. Thanks to all of you for joining today's webinar. To begin our presentation this afternoon, Arthur, could you please tell our attendees about CooperVision?
Good morning, everyone. Well, CooperVision is a subsidiary of the Cooper Companies, which is a publicly listed global medical device company. We are headquartered in Pleasanton, California. We have approximately 11,000 employees. And the two divisions of the Cooper Companies are CooperVision, which is entirely focused on contact lens manufacturing and sale. And we have Cooper Surgical, which is a medical device company focused on women's healthcare, and in particular fertility and OB/GYN products. CooperVision represents about 80% of the revenue of the Cooper Companies. Next. A little bit more background about CooperVision. We are the world's third largest manufacturer of soft contact lenses. We have about 25% of the global market share. Our revenue is $1.5 billion US dollars. We are a true global country, selling our products in over 100 countries in primarily direct sales offices. We have the industry's most comprehensive contact lens portfolio, and that's our unique position. So we cover prescriptions for the majority of patients, and our employees are distributed globally. We have manufacturing locations in Rochester, New York, the south of England in Southampton, in San Juan, in Puerto Rico, and also in Costa Rica. Next slide. CooperVision has experienced strong growth over the last 7 to 8 years, and that's primarily due to new product introductions. Our new products have arisen from internal developments as well as external technology being brought into CooperVision and further developed and manufactured. Our key product lines are in the soft disposable category, Biofinity, which is our flagship silicone hydrogel, and our 2 one-day silicone hydrogel products, our premium product, MyDay, and Clarity One Day. Next slide. Key market drivers for our future growth are identified in 3 areas, and what's particularly relevant to and complementary to the background to the Science and Technology Award program is really around wearer base expansion. We note that the number of myopes, short-sighted individuals, are increasing, and children and young adults are entering contact lenses earlier. We see opportunities for presbyopes, those individuals beyond 40, 45 years of age who have difficulties in reading, and that's primarily a physiological change occurring with everybody. That presbyopes, we see opportunities for providing better products to enable single vision or non-presbyopic people continuing to wear lenses. We see opportunities to improve contact lens comfort, and we see opportunities in managing and treating the increasing incidence of myopia. Our primary focus will be in silicone hydrogels and in one-day lenses going forward. So back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Thank you.
Just before I hand back to you, I'd just like to give a brief background to the initiative of the program. So this is our 4th year of the Science and Technology Award, and we've been extremely pleased with the first 3 years of the program. And really, we are continuing the basic purposes and objectives that we had from the outset, which is to really source and seek new opportunities and new technologies from the innovation community in the academic area. We really are looking to explore new areas of technology advancement that align with our growth objectives and where we see opportunities for growth. And as I said earlier, we have created new products from a combination of internal technology development, but increasingly we are leaning on external technologies, understanding those, researching those, and then bringing those into CooperVision for further product development. So we're looking for those technologies that fulfill some clear objectives that we have, which we will outline today. And we're looking to also build relationships with CooperVision scientists with people and with academic institutions that are new to contact lenses, who may not normally think about applying their technologies and expertise to contact lenses, and we're looking to collaborate and partner with innovative scientists.
Great. Thank you very much, Arthur. Turning now to the details of this project, Nancy will now present the first focus area. Nancy?
Great. Thank you. So in the U.S. alone, approximately 3 million wearers discontinue contact lens wear, with discomfort and dryness, particularly at the end of the day, consistently being reported as the primary reason. Contact lens discomfort is characterized by episodic or persistent adverse ocular sensations related to contact lens wear. Unfortunately, however, the etiology of contact lens discomfort is poorly understood, and currently there are no proven treatments. Therefore, our primary focus area is for novel, effective innovations to improve contact lens comfort, with an emphasis on devices and non-therapeutic approaches. While all proposals related to this focus area are welcome, we would like to specifically call on novel modes of action to retain, manage, or enhance moisture at the ocular and/or contact lens surface. This may include testing hypotheses or proof of concept evaluations. Possible approaches include, but are not limited to, novel materials, effective adjunct therapies, or microfluidics. An example of a non-ocular approach is neurostimulation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nancy. For focus area 2, we have Paul from CooperVision. Paul?
Thanks. Hello, everyone. Okay, so the focus area I'll be talking about is insights into the retinal response from optical defocus. So it's now widely known that optical defocus, and in particular myopic defocus, can control eye growth and thus the development of myopia in some children. So basically, if you have focus behind the retina, the eye grows longer and that causes myopia. But if you can have focus in front of the retina, the eye grows shorter, preventing myopia. However, more research is needed to understand how does the eye distinguish between these two types of defocus, myopic and hyperopic. And then, as a consequence, what changes happen at the retinal cellular level in response to this defocus signal? And following that, why do some children then respond to myopic defocus and some children do not respond to myopic defocus treatment? Next slide. So some examples of new research could include a novel research in discovering how the retina distinguishes the sign of defocus, i.e. myopic or hyperopic. Another example could be simulation of optical defocus and the stimulation or measurement of retinal signaling in response to changes in light spectrum, wavelength, or image quality. And this could be clinical or laboratory testing. Thank you. Next slide.
Thank you, Paul. And for focus area 3, we have Sarah to tell us about it. Sarah?
Thank you. The technology is starting to redefine the role that contact lenses can play. With advancements in wearable computing and miniaturized electronics, contact lenses have the potential to become a platform for revolutionary medical and smart applications. Focus Area 3 aims to expand the functionality of contact lenses as a wearable device for application beyond conventional vision correction. Within this focus area, we are seeking proposals for novel functional uses of contact lenses, as well as any innovations in component technologies that can enable this functionality. Some examples of novel uses for contact lenses include health-related applications, such as new ways of correcting or augmenting vision, as diagnostic or health monitoring devices, or to deliver medical or therapeutic treatments, towards applications in which contact lenses can enhance virtual interactions, computing experience, and/or social connectivity. As a practical matter, many of these applications will be limited by the size, shape, and form factor of the technology that can be incorporated into a lens. Therefore, enabling component technologies of interest may encompass areas such as, but not limited to, new materials, energy harvesting and storage, sensors, processing, and communication solutions.
All right, thank you very much, Sarah. And now, here to present information regarding the criteria and timeline for this contest is Paul Musili from NineSigma. Paul?
Thanks, Jonathan. So to help those of you interested in responding to this challenge, CooperVision has laid out some judging criteria by which they'll look at the proposals after they receive them to help them make funding decisions in the future. So I certainly don't want to bore you by reading through these criteria, but they're available both here in the webinar as well as on the NineSigma and CooperVision websites for you to look at in the future. But these criteria will look pretty familiar to those of you who have applied for other funding opportunities in the past. A couple of things to note here is to make sure that your proposal details technology or strategy to help advance one of the 3 technology areas that CooperVision has just spoken about with you today, and outline a research plan and budget that helps advance one of those areas. Next slide. As far as timeline, we launched this project in April and will be accepting letters of intent through May 30th, after which CooperVision will invite selected participants to submit a full proposal by August 29th with award funding starting in October.
Okay, great, Paul, thank you. So perhaps you can tell our attendees, the solution providers, why they should be interested in submitting a letter of intent for this contest.
Absolutely. So the first and greatest thing is the opportunity to introduce your technology, your research group to the CooperVision team, who, as they presented to us just a couple minutes ago, is one of the world's leaders in contact lenses. And one of the other great outcomes of this project is that CooperVision has offered up 2 different kinds of award funding to help support technologies of interest. One of which is the CooperVision Seedling Award, meant to incentivize collaborations with CooperVision in new research areas for a 1-year period. And the total cash amount for this prize is $100,000. The other type of research award that participants will be vying for in this competition is the CooperVision Translational Research Award, which is a multi-year award with substantive funding for translational research, with funding over 2 years totaling up to $400,000. A couple other notes about the details of the Science and Technology Awards, one of which is really great, which is that people receiving funding maintain their intellectual property rights, which is really great for these types of funding. Something that I already mentioned, but is really important to mention a couple of times, is the potential to make partnerships with a great company like CooperVision, who has great science and research and development going on in the areas of contact lenses, and could be a great resource for anyone looking to take their research focus areas and translate them into uses for contact lens applications. And another note is that U.S. citizenship is not required to participate and receive funding in this case.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. Now it's time to address some of the frequently asked questions. These are questions that are typically asked about NineSigma projects, or are questions that have been asked by the NineSigma provider help desk. Our first question: I'm not sure my approach is within scope for this challenge. How can I get guidance? Paul, you started from NineSigma.
Sorry, so both the NineSigma and CooperVision teams are available to answer any questions you might have about this project. CooperVision has provided an email address, which will be attached to this webinar and is also available on the NineSigma website, where you can reach them. That's staward@coopervision.com. We'll make sure that's listed along with this webinar. And on the NineSigma webpage, you can, of course, always use the NineSigma provider help desk to reach us and find out more information about this project.
Okay, thank you, Paul. And I believe you covered this just a moment or two ago with the timeline, but always good to remind our listeners, what is the deadline to submit a letter of intent?
Yep, so we've detailed on the website for everyone to find that the deadline to submit the letter of intent is May 30th, 2016.
Okay, great. My technology isn't currently adapted for ocular use. Can I apply?
Yeah, of course. So, in fact, one of the reasons that CooperVision partnered with NineSigma was to make sure that people outside of specialists in vision and contact lenses were made aware of this great opportunity. As Sarah was talking about in the third topic area of focus, it's pretty easy to see how some of those enabling technologies to help make contact lenses into wearable devices that have applications beyond just vision correction might come from and be developed outside of the traditional eye-related verticals.
Okay, and one more frequently asked question. Can I participate if I represent a business with an applicable technology?
Yeah, of course. So although these funding awards are intended just for academic scientists, CooperVision is also interested in learning about companies who see the potential for partnerships. So if you believe that your company's got some technologies or strategies that might help CooperVision, please feel free to use the letter of intent form to introduce yourself to CooperVision, and they'll be sure to follow up with anyone of interest.
All right, thank you very much, Paul. We will now turn to the live Q&A portion of today's webinar. If you haven't already done so, please feel free to submit your questions via the Q&A chat box. We'll take the rest of our time today to answer them live. And if we don't get to all the questions that you ask, don't worry. We are collecting all of these questions, and the question and answer session will be included with the transcript from today's webinar. Our very first question, and this one may go to the folks at CooperVision, is each focus area given the same weighting during the assessment process? Arthur, maybe do you want to take that one?
Yes. Yes, in short. We have equal weighting for those applications.
Okay, very good. Are applications sent for external review or only internally within CooperVision?
They're sent internally only. So we have an awards review committee made up of representatives from each of our functional departments within our research and development group.
Okay, very good. Our next question, any information on success rates from previous rounds?
Yes, we've been very, very pleased with the success of the awards to date, and I can give you some details about that. For example, we have over the first 3 years of the awards, we've granted 11 awards, totaling about $2.2 million, and these have originated from around the world. So a third of the awards have gone to countries outside of Canada and the US. We've also actually converted 2 seedling awards into translational awards. So we're very pleased with that outcome. We've also actually an unexpected outcome from the first 3 years has been that 7 of the unsuccessful awards, of the unsuccessful applicants for the awards, were compelling enough for us to attract the attention of some of the departmental leaders within the research and development organization. And so those proposals and applicants were worked with our R&D leaders, and we funded the 7 more awards in the regular R&D budgeting expense, so that an additional $1 million has been funding has been provided to those 7 unsuccessful applicants. So That's a great outcome for CooperVision and those awards.
Absolutely. Arthur, I think we're going to stay with you for this next question, and for the individual who submitted it, I'm going to try to make a guess here at what you're asking. If I'm wrong, please feel free to submit a second question to make sure that I get it correctly. The question is there an opportunity for cross-pollination between different submitters? And I'm thinking here that the question asker is wondering, if I have a partial solution and could make use of somebody else's partial solution, would we be able to work together?
Generally, the awards have a standalone, but that's an area that those other awards, those other fundings within the R&D group have one of the reasons why they have been given additional funding outside the award system. So we saw a good opportunity, a good technology that really needed a lot more CooperVision involvement, and plus maybe some combination of other ideas and technologies to further progress those activities. So yes.
Okay, great. Our next question is, can we apply as a consortium that includes academic institutions from different countries?
Absolutely. That's what we're looking for, is a network of researchers in all different areas and locations.
Okay, great. All right, our next question is CooperVision interested in vision correction technologies that are not related to contact lenses, e.g. interocular or display related? I think you addressed it a little bit in your presentation, Sarah.
Generally not intraocular, but vision display, which I think is what you were alluding to, is possible. It's just such a broad question that again, you know, eventually we want the technology to relate to our business down the road, that we can implement and translate the idea to a product. So how translation occurs is can be a direct or tortuous path, and so we would welcome the opportunity to evaluate whether that has the potential to fit into our product development objectives.
Okay, thank you, Arthur. We're going to stay with CooperVision, but give Arthur a chance to rest his voice for a little bit here. We're going to talk with Nancy, Paul, and Sarah. Are there any approaches that have been tried and rejected for the three focus areas? And why don't we begin with Nancy with focus area 1?
Right, so I think that was really part of why we tried to make it clear that from a comfort perspective, we're interested in device concepts and non-pharmaceutical approaches. So I think in the past, we've had some very good ideas, but they've involved pharmaceuticals, which is not part of our current business.
Okay. And Paul, how about you? Approaches that have been tried and rejected for focus area 2?
In relation to the specifics that we had with focus area 2, this is, I think, a new area of focus for us. So nothing has been proposed previously, so we're open to applications.
Okay, great. And last but not least, Sarah, what about you? Any approaches that have been rejected outright or are of lesser interest?
I think in this area it's interesting because there's a lot going on in both the application side and the enabling technology area. And so I think technologies that are at a very early seed stage where we can't direct them towards an application quite yet might be a little less successful. But again, this is a semi-new area to us this year as well as a focus.
Okay. Our next question is actually oh, I'm sorry, did somebody have something to add?
Yeah, could I just chime in? You know, we have funded a range of applications, some dealing with methods, some dealing with understanding of a particular response. We certainly have funded some direct technology and how that could apply and benefit comfort, vision, and treatment of ocular conditions. And, you know, again, it's lab and clinical exploration have also been funded. So I thought I would just add that dimension.
Absolutely, Arthur. Thank you very much for that add-on. Our next question is actually a two-part question. First off, how do you reconcile intellectual property rights owned by an academic and running a close partnership? The second part of the question is, do you have any joint patents from previous awards?
So generally, we will, with an academic institution, we will negotiate all that in advance, and so that's part of the awarding process. Within that, we generally follow the, the academic institution will, all the IP will belong to them, and everything else beyond that is negotiated. Any IP that is jointly created with both sides will be, that can also be negotiated, but generally it's also jointly owned.
Okay, great. Our next question, what is the size/detail required for the letter of intent?
The letter of intent is a very short abstract, so I think it's a 400-word abstract or so, which is generally enough to get the idea across. And we take a look at that and can determine whether it falls within scope or out of scope of the focus areas that we've outlined.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Our next question, is CooperVision also interested in processing hard contact lenses?
That is a possibility if it directly aligns with the focus area.
Okay, thank you, Arthur. Our next question has just come in. When will approval of letters of intent be provided?
We aim to provide approval within a week or two after the deadline, so early June.
Okay, very good. And I believe we addressed this briefly. Are all the proposal criteria given equal weight? And I believe that the answer was yes. Is that correct?
We use a panel review committee in order to look at the proposals, and within the community, folks can weight different criteria how they see fit. So whether it's the investigator, the innovation, the resources, the ability to actually follow through, including a lot of different other criteria as well. And those are collectively looked at by the committee for the final decision.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Our next question would probably be best addressed to Sarah. For focus area 3, are there biometric signals that are more of interest than others?
For biometric signals, I would say related to eye conditions or eye health would be of more interest, but in this area we are looking at novel innovation, so I think interested in any new ideas that crop up outside of that as well.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sarah. We don't have any additional questions at this time. If any of our attendees have any questions that they would like to pose to either NineSigma staff or the CooperVision staff, now would be an excellent time to do so while we have them on the line. If, however, you don't think of any questions during today's webinar, don't worry. There are plenty of ways for you to get answers to your questions, and we'll address those in just a little bit. And Paul Musili also covered that during his presentation as well. And if there are no further questions, I think we'll begin to wrap up today's webinar. So, what can you do today? For more information about the project, you can visit the website listed on your screen right now. You can also, while you're there, see the project timeline, get more details about the 3 focus areas, questions about eligibility, and more. And that will wrap up today's webinar. For additional information, we encourage you to visit the challenge site. And please remember that the deadline to submit your letter of intent is Monday, May 30th, 2016. One last reminder that today's webinar was recorded and will be made available along with the Q&A transcript on the CooperVision contest page on NineSigma. Thank you to all of our speakers for their time and their expertise.